Hi, I'm Nick with Mystery Stitch Designs. What I'm going to be doing today is using our February Stash Stalker fabrics from the Fabric Snob, which happens to be this beautiful Dwell Impossibility by Gingerbread from Oda. Beautiful gold metallics on all these fabrics, and there's lots of, you have the moths here, beautiful florals. This fabric actually has little deer laying in the flowers, so super cute. So what I'm going to do is let's make some throw pillows to go with our lovely quilt. The quilt behind me finishes roughly 57 by about 77 inches. So I will have the pattern for that available. I'll have a link down in the comments. And I decided that this is going to be the new quilt for my living room for the couch, and I'm going to do a set of 4 coordinated throw pillows to go with it. So what I'll do is I'll throw that off to the side for now, and basically what I'm going to do is lay all these fabrics together. I like to cut things all at once. So what I'm going to do is line up along the selvage on this edge and kind of keep this right edge nice and straight. And what I can do is clean up that one edge, turn the fabrics around, and then subcut all of my strips. We're going to be cutting 2-inch strips that are going to finish at 1.5. There we go. So once you have your 8 2-inch strips cut, so it's about 16 inches of fabric used, so you have a little bit extra. You can maybe squeak out a set of 6 pillows or possibly 8 pillows if you switch up the order that you use your fabrics. I need all my pillows to match, so I'm just going to aim for a set of 4. So once you have these all cut, you can lay them off to the side, and we can move on to our moth fabric. Now, the way I intended on doing this is to cut a 6.5-inch square, and I've decided that I'm going to cut it at an angle and actually get 4 moths in that square. So the way I like to do when I have to fussy cut something like this is, since it's going to be 6 inches finished, we need to cut 6.5. So on my ruler, I'm just going to use some green painter's tape. And again, if you have washi tape or anything like that, you can use that to mark your lines. So basically, just to give you a nice visual of where the 6.5-inch line is. So just working from, I think the closest, that'll be this set of 4 right here, and then it'll be another set of 4 there, and then the next spacing over will it'll probably be that group there or possibly that group. So there will be some leftover pieces, and again, if you don't want to fussy cut them, you can certainly just cut a strip like that and get more squares, but I want to have it really special. Now that we have our centers cut, we can do a sort of a mock-up of how we want the order to go. So I want to do the same fabric going in both directions. So as you can see, the first 2 strips you'll be able to get 2 sides out of 1 strip, and after that you'll basically need to use 2 strips of fabric. So as long as you think that you have a nice color balance, you can go ahead and start stitching them down. So the best and easiest way to do this is to set up your sewing machine nice and near to where your pressing and ironing station is, because you're basically going to have to stitch one side, iron, and go back and forth. Now, with something like this, you could measure and pre-cut all the strips to the correct length. I really don't think it matters that much. If you have a good sewing machine that feeds very evenly, you're not going to get much distortion at all. Or if you have a walking foot, you can pop that on, and then you know for a fact that your fabric is feeding through nice and evenly. But I know that my machine is nice and good. So I'm going to start stitching these down now. Now what I like to do is just keep a pair of scissors handy. So after you press back your strip, you can just snip it nice and straight. If you want, you can lay your block down and use a rotary cutter and ruler. I think that takes just a little bit longer, so that's why I don't do that. And there you have it. One of our 4 beautiful little pillows. So what I'm going to do now is, off camera, I'm going to go ahead and finish sewing up the other 3 pillow tops, and then I'm going to go over to the long arm and I'm going to load some backing, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to quilt these to coordinate with the set that I have over here. And then we'll come back and I'll show you how I like to finish off pillows with just a really super easy tuck-in pillow where you just overlap the 2 backing pieces. So super quick, super easy, and you don't have to worry about doing buttonholes, you don't have to worry about installing zippers, you don't have to worry about putting in toggles or anything. If you want to rock those things, by all means, go for it. But I want these to be super quick and easy, so I'm just going to do a traditional little fold over. So I'll meet you right back in a moment. Okay, there we go. Now we have our pillows all done and quilted, and I just loaded a plain white fabric here, and I'm going to use the same plain white for the back of my pillows. You're more than welcome to use whatever you want. If you wanted to order more, maybe this white with a little black or one of the other prints that came in the collection, by all means you can use whatever you like. So these pillow tops basically measure 18.5 inches. After they've quilted, they might have shrank a little, so maybe it's about 18.25. So the way I like to do this is, now, when you're doing the fold over pillows, the way I like to do it is, if the pillow is 18 inches, I'm going to do 2/3 of it from one direction and 2/3 from the other. So basically the 1/3 of the pillow in the middle is the overlap of the 2 pieces. Now, again, if you want to do the overlap at the top or the bottom, you can do it however you'd like. But if you want to do it in the center, if your pillow is basically 18 inches, what we want, 2/3 of that is 12 inches. So I've just gone ahead and cut 2 pieces here of my backing fabric. Now, I cut 14 inches, which is basically my 12 inches plus an extra 2 inches, so we can do a nice wide hem at the top. We're going to do a 1-inch hem and fold it over twice and stitch down. Now, these are about 20 inches wide. I don't like to trim them exactly down to size, because if your pillow isn't perfectly square, you're going to have to distort this to stitch it on. So when you do it this way, you can have a little bit extra and then trim it up after. Once you have a pillow form in your pillow, you won't notice if it's going to be slightly out, so don't stress too much about that. Now for this, what I'm going to do is just take each one, and I'm just going to, roughly fold it over 1 inch. If you want to be precise and mark it out, you're more than welcome to. I'm fine to just kind of wing it. Okay, and once you have those, you can come over to the sewing machine. And I just want to top stitch just inside that fold line. And I think what I'm going to do is also top stitch the other edge. Okay. And last step. So what I do is just lay it right over top. And again, like I said, I had that extra. I'm just going to kind of center it left and right. Just lay that down. And whichever side you have facing the top, because the whole thing is going to be turned inside out, that's what's going to be showing on the outside. So there's the side that has this little lip. I want that to the inside. The side that has just the 2 lines of stitching, which was the side that was face down, that's what I'm putting face down here. And same thing from this side. Just like that. Now, if you want, you can pin this. You can do whatever you're most comfortable with. I never pin, but I am going to swap out for my walking foot, just to make sure that this feeds nice and evenly. And because there's a bit of an overhang, it's sometimes hard to see where that little line is, but because the fabrics are colored, you can sort of see them sticking through that white a little bit. And when you get to the corners, you can just pivot. There you go. Flip it upside down. trim off that little bit of excess. And if you have a serger, this would be a perfect time that you could go over and serge these edges, and that'll just keep any of these little threads from sticking out too much. There you go. And once you turn it inside out, you can go ahead and run an iron over the edges, and that'll really get them to lay nice and flat and turned under the proper way. But there you go. Nice, simple, clean white back. And there it is from the front. Super cute. And again, that's going to look pretty fantastic next to this beautiful new quilt. So there's one way that you can be inspired to use up some of your stash stalker fabrics. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the Fabric Snob and Mystery Stitch Designs. Thank you very much. Bye.